Imagine navigating a highway that feels like an unending nightmare. That's exactly the experience of driving on Miami's I-95. This infamous road, the lifeline of Miami's transportation network, is notorious for its relentless traffic jams and chaotic design. Despite numerous attempts to fix it, I-95 remains an urban planning disaster that frustrates drivers daily. How did this crucial roadway become such a tangled mess, and why do solutions seem so elusive? Well, the construction of Miami's I-95 highway is anything but simple. The highway dates back to the 1960s when the roads were filled with dirt and gravel. I mean, those were the days when roads were seen as technological advancements, making local communities eager to resist their introduction. Miami's I-95 highway was no exception. After its introduction, the road was met with immediate negative reactions from the local communities. But still, we can't accuse the people of causing an uproar because of its existence. The highway had come to cause turmoil among the people. Imagine being displaced from your hometown because the authorities want to introduce a highway. That is exactly what the highway came with. Over 12,000 black residents who were within its area were displaced just to make way for the highway. To make matters worse, the compensation given to those property owners was below market value, making it hard for them to start a new life elsewhere. But that's not all. In its wake, the project not only reshaped the city, but also deepened racial divisions. If you have heard stories from those days or were there yourself, you would agree that roads were used to enforce segregation among people. Take, for example, the division between the white downtown area and the black community in Overtown. Henry Flagler's Florida East Coast had established railroad tracks that separated the two communities, creating the aspect of different classes. This situation made Overtown one of the few central areas where both black and white Miamians existed, despite social disparities, with numerous locally owned businesses. By the late 1960s, the completion of I-95 had nearly reduced the population by 3/4. I mean, the population dropped from approximately 50,000 to 10,000. One could even question whether the highway was a disaster or a blessing for the people. However, according to the statistics, it appeared more of a disaster, as it prioritized economic growth at the expense of communities, especially the black community. We could also argue that the development was a strategic element of urban planning aimed at serving federal investment while containing the black populations. But the drama didn't stop there. As construction continued, the first section of I-95 opened in Jacksonville in 1960, followed by the launch of a segment near the current I-195 in Miami the following year. The completion of the highway seemed like a phased process, with the stretch from Fort Lauderdale to Miami finished first in 1970, and then the entire route from Miami to the Georgia state line completed by 1976. But that's not all. When the highway was approved, it was intended to utilize parts of Florida's turnpike. However, this idea was later discarded in the 1970s, separating I-95 from the turnpike. This ensured that by 1987, the highway ran smoothly from Miami to the state line. Just by its effective urban planning, it sounds like the perfect highway, right? But if you find that intriguing, wait until you hear about its persistent issues. The I-95 highway seems to be prone to frequent weather damage. Although its construction was quite good, the highway experiences frequent closures due to flooding. Take the incident at the southbound lanes at Griffin Road, for example. The road has been facing a recurring issue of flooding, especially during heavy rains. This affects the operational capacity of the highway, which appears to lack adequate drainage. But that's not all. The area is also prone to these frequent weather events, which makes one question if the authorities really did their research when they decided on this route. I mean, forecasts predict that the area is vulnerable and could experience additional rounds of heavy rains and thunderstorms that could further impact the highway. It's quite astonishing how these urban planners come up with decisions regarding these construction areas, don't you think? But if you find that shocking, the next challenge may surprise you even more. The fact that the authorities allowed the construction of the highway on people's land without fully compensating them also serves as a significant challenge for this project. Since its inception, the I-95 highway has been a subject of concern due to its forced relocation of over 12,000 residents, disrupting the social fabric of communities. Let's not even talk about the spatial and economic disparities it came with in its wake. This project can be regarded as poor infrastructure, having caused a long-term distrust for road projects within these communities. Talking about the communities, the Miami I-95 highway has really caused turmoil in their lives. The highway has significantly altered daily commutes, often extending travel times and increasing traffic congestion. Take, for example, the incident along Nicole Diraso. The residents there experienced extended commutes when returning from the Jersey Shore. Imagine a 90-minute trip being turned into a 2-hour trip just because there are detours along the road. This is the exact situation there. With detours such as Route 73 to the New Jersey Turnpike, it becomes very difficult to have a continuous journey to your destination. But that's not all. The challenges of the highway go beyond its boundaries, affecting even the local businesses, particularly during infrastructure failures that result in road closures. For instance, during a significant closure affecting more than 150,000 daily passengers, local businesses will also experience considerable disruptions. I mean, the closure will not only affect communities, but also have a substantial economic impact, illustrating the broader ramifications of highway inefficiencies on the local economy. This disruption underscores the critical role of reliable transportation infrastructure in supporting local business operations and economic stability. Now, you might be thinking that if we can see the problems that the highway caused, why not just solve them and address the root of the problem? While that seems like a straightforward solution, the situation is not that simple. Multiple parties have been actively involved in efforts to address these challenges. For instance, the Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT, has been instrumental in launching significant projects aimed at improving the functionality of I-95. One noteworthy project involved expanding the highway from 4 to 6 lanes, spanning from north of State Road 44 to north of U.S. Highway 92. This extensive undertaking not only widened the road, but also involved the reconstruction of major interchanges and bridges, resulting in notable enhancements to traffic flow and safety. The method was quite promising. However, this represents just a small fraction of the solutions implemented. The community had also been actively engaged in addressing this issue. Their involvement has been pivotal in several redevelopment projects, particularly the Heritage Trail Initiative, which aims to reconnect communities through enhanced open spaces and improved pedestrian and bicycle connections. This initiative underscores a broader objective to incorporate community needs and feedback into urban planning and infrastructure development. However, their efforts pale in comparison to the initiative taken by the private sector. The private sector also played a crucial role, exemplified by NASCAR's significant investment in the Daytona International Speedway. This $400 million renovation not only stimulated the local economy, but also catalyzed additional developments such as new hotels, shops, and restaurants. Such private investments are essential for fostering economic growth and urban development in areas affected by infrastructure projects. These previous efforts to address the highway issues highlight a multifaceted approach involving diverse stakeholders committed to improving both infrastructure and socioeconomic conditions in the affected areas. Each initiative, whether spearheaded by government agencies, community organizations, or the private sector, contributes uniquely to the overarching goal of resolving the persistent challenges faced by I-95 in Miami. While these efforts have achieved varying degrees of success, the path to a comprehensive solution is fraught with challenges, from bureaucratic hurdles to the evolving dynamics of urban and environmental factors. Looking forward, we hope that authorities will continue with their efforts to enhance the safety of the highway and that future infrastructure projects will adhere to established protocols. There you have it, folks. We hope you liked and enjoyed the video. On your way out, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more videos like this. Till next time.